Okay, today's question is performance of welfare schemes that are implemented for vulnerable section is not so effective due to the absence of their awareness and active involvement at all stages of policy process. Discuss. This particular question appeared in 2019. For 15 marker, you have to write 250 words. Okay. Now, if you understand one thing over here, when I say performance of welfare schemes that are implemented, okay, so here we are talking about vulnerable sections. Vulnerable sections में SC, ST, OBC, all these tribal people, all these will come into picture. ठीक है. अब यहाँ पे we need to answer. They are actually telling you what, that why it is not effective. It is because of the absence of the awareness. Because so this is one point, and the second thing that is there is active involvement at all stages of policy. So the second thing that is missing is their active involvement. So we have to write keeping these two subtopics in mind. Is it clear to you? We have to, because now whatever points I'm going to write, I have to put it under this only, that okay, absence of awareness was there and there was active involvement was not there. If you remember in the first class also, when we talked about SC, ST, the first point that we write about was challenge, related to the challenge is what? Lack of awareness. That these people are not aware. And if these people are not aware, obviously they are not going to participate. Their involvement will not be there. And if their involvement is not there, it means what? That their need and requirement is not getting fulfilled. If their need and requirement is not getting fulfilled, they are feeling alienated and isolated. At the end of the day, anti-government sentiments are being risen up. Okay? Acha. I'm now talking about the introduction part. You need to do one thing over here. Introduction mein, in the last answers that we had discussed, somewhere we understood that in some of the answers mein, we had to start introduction with your definition. The second is, the first was, this is the type that you need to understand. First is definition. The second is data. If you have any report or something related to that particular thing, obviously you can start. Third thing where you can start is through DPSPs also. Directive Principles of State Policy. So my suggestion would be that you have to learn your fundamental rights. You have to learn your DPSPs, you have to learn your fundamental duties. Is it okay? Because if you learn these things, it will be easy for you to, if you talk about fundamental duties and all, you can write this in the conclusion itself. And DPSPs, based on the question, you can write something in the introduction itself. Is it okay? So these are the things. I'm not asking for the parliament and all such stuff, but these has to be there, because now you can write introduction also and your conclusion also. Okay, so I will write today, I will write introduction with the DPSP. You please write this. You please write. In this way you can write that directive principles of state policy. Directive principles of state policy puts certain obligations. Directive principles of state policy puts certain obligations on the state to provide social welfare schemes, for the vulnerable sections of the society. For the vulnerable sections of the society. Such schemes are conceptualized. Such schemes are conceptualized at the ministerial level. At the ministerial level, and implemented at the grassroots level. Conceptualized at the ministerial level and implemented at the grassroots level. And next line may you come. The Indian government has often been criticized the Indian government has often been criticized for inadequate implementation, and last mile delivery of such schemes, often due to the absence of awareness, and active involvement at all stages of policy process. Is it clear to you? This is the introduction that I'm going to write. So you need to understand that the question that is there, I can use some of the lines in the introduction also. Okay. Now, how different it is if you're writing the same introduction in your polity. Now, since I am writing this in your GS paper 1, I may not write the articles over here. But if I write something in your GS paper 2, I need to add these articles also, that which articles is actually talking about the vulnerable section. That much clarity I should have. This is the difference while writing in the Indian society answers, and this is if you write in your GS paper 2 polity Indian constitution, there you need to write the articles also. Clear हो गया ये? Okay, चलो. अब यहाँ पे now you can put these two things. First is lack of awareness among beneficiaries. Now we'll see one by one what all points we can write. Now again I'm telling you, this is the problem, that market mein you have endless resources, but the matrix you need to follow is, now if there is any question, what are the challenges that is faced by the government in this? Now you can use again these points. Is this clear to you? So whatever the articles that we had discussed, that will still be relevant over here. What are the challenges? In fact, in SC, STs also, I have made you write what are the challenges the government is facing. Those points can also be put under here. Is it okay? Acha. Sabse pehla point I will write over here is, the first point I will underwrite is information gap. You can write information gap. Information gap where especially in rural and remote areas. Especially in rural and remote areas. This can be one of the reasons that there is no information, especially in remote areas. And this information gap is related to what? Related to obviously the welfare schemes and programs. Acha. Second point you can write over here is complex bureaucratic process. Complex bureaucratic process. Okay. Leading to low engagement. Is it okay? Then third point you can write over here is limited outreach efforts by the government. That is, they rely on traditional media. Is it clear? Now, you see any of the private companies wanted to promote their product, they will go here, they will go for podcasts, they will go for this event, that event, they will pitch, they will make videos and all. But you will not see a lot of IAS officers putting this on online media. It's very less. Okay, so that is also that now they will put up something on the a website made so bulky that obviously you cannot figure it out what is the eligibility criteria and all. Okay, next point you can write is language and literacy barriers. Language and literacy barriers. Language and literacy barriers. Now language and literacy barriers means now as a DM I am posted in Kerala, so for that I need to know Malayalam. Or you imagine from the other side also, now the people over there are so illiterate that they may not be able to understand what I'm speaking. So obviously there will be a communication gap. So what I wanted to say, what they wanted to understand, there is a whole gap between the two individuals. So I will not be able to communicate to them. So that may also contribute that they will not get the benefit out of it. Next point you can write is digital media. Not digital media, right? Digital divide. Due to lack of internet access. Digital divide due to lack of internet access. Now if they don't have internet also, so will they be go and check these things online? The answer is no, they will struggle. Next point you can write is dependency on intermediaries. Dependency on intermediaries. Next point you can write is dependency on intermediaries. Now I am the beneficiary, I want to get the benefit out of it. There is a district collector over there, so rather than going straight away to him, now I may find people that who will connect me to the individuals. Now the benefit that I'm supposed to get from the government, these people, intermediaries, they may ask for a cut, and this is how the benefit, or this is how the objective of the government will fail. I gave you the example related to the MSP when I was discussing this. The MSP is there, but now because of transportation and all, these intermediaries will come and say, Acha, you don't need to go there, I will pay you that money, you sell me your product. So this is how this can be there. Next you can write is poor visibility of schemes at local level. Poor visibility of schemes at local level. Poor visibility of schemes at local level due to insufficient campaigns. Due to insufficient local campaigns. Due to insufficient local campaigns. ये points clear हो गए? Is there anything which you don't know? Or have you, is there anything which I have not understood? Acha, next you can write over here is, so all this is I wrote under what? I wrote under this point, absence of awareness. Next I'm going to address the active involvement. So you write active involvement, active, or you say absence of active involvement, absence of active involvement in policy process, in policy process. Okay, now let's see. Now in this also you can write first point, that is top bottom approach, or you say top to bottom rather than top to bottom, right? Top to bottom, up, top down approach. Top to top down approach, which can result in mismatch in priorities. Which can result in mismatch of priorities. Which can result in mismatch of priorities. Okay. Now company wants to gift to you during the time of Diwali. Rather than deciding it with the employee, they decided on their own self. Now my need would have been different, and now they gave me something which I don't consume, which I don't like. Similarly, if I as a government, if I'm going to make a policy, for you, I need to consult it with you. Without your consultation, I think, acha, your village needs healthcare facilities, your village needs education, your village needs skill training centers and all. So I decided by my own self. This is what is your top to down approach. Is it okay? It means that someone who is at this hierarchy, they are going to decide for the people who are at the bottom. This is top down. Next point you can write is limited feedback mechanism. Limited feedback mechanism. Limited feedback mechanism. If you made a scheme and you are not able to get the feedback out of it, that whether it is doing good or do you need some improvement, do you need some modification, तो मुझे तो ये लगेगा ना everything is going good. Is it okay? So why this is happening? Because the active involvement of beneficiaries is not there. Next point you can write over here. Limited role in monitoring and evaluation. Limited role in monitoring and evaluation. Limited role in monitoring and evaluation. In this you can write beneficiaries are typically excluded from oversight. Beneficiaries are typically excluded from oversight. Typically excluded from oversight, leading to weak accountability and program inefficiencies. Leading to weak accountability and program inefficiencies. Is it okay? Now you see that on one of the, for example, you understand it like this, that when I will teach governance, I will tell you about the concept of a social audit. Usually whatever the point is, I'll just tell you. Now see, this is government. Now government will ask the bureaucracy that you please implement the rules. Bureaucracy will say ki acha haan, we have implemented it. Now they will make the file, all the technicalities and send it to the government that yes, we have been able to implement it. Very good. But now on ground the things are different. So now social audit, concepts like social audit, they will say no, these whatever the project is, it has to be managed by the people also. Now people will tell that whether they got this service or not, because government is sitting in Delhi or government is sitting in the capital. On paper it is done, but on reality it is not done. So to manage this gap, this will be done. Clear हो गया? अब इसलिए तुमने देखा होगा lot of the times Ministry of Roadways, when they are going to make the roads, they will put the name of the contractor also, because I as a government, it is not possible for me to go and check each and every road. It's not possible. But if I gave you the power that now you tell me this is the name of the contractor, we have given him the contract, it is for 5 years and he has given this guarantee that in the next 5 years roads mein problem nahi hongi, there will be no potholes in the road. But ho gaya. Now since his number is there, you will directly call him, or if he is or she is not there, then you can complain. So rather than you blame me that sir, you make the road, you are not able to do it, I gave this power to you to decide. Now what is going to happen? She may not call, he will call, koi na koi ek to call karega. So that is how I am going to ensure accountability from public also, by putting his number, by putting his work in the public. Clear हो गया? Okay. Next यहाँ पे देखो, absence of community driven improvements. Absence of community driven improvements. Absence of community driven improvements based on real world experiences. Based on real world experiences. Okay, that's it. Are these points clear to you? Okay, next, that is done. So now we can go and write and address the other thing. But since we'll try to cover these questions on a holistic manner, so you just write the third dimension also, which you can utilize in any of the answers that will be there. So you can write put as others, and you can write challenges in implementation. Let's see what all points we can write over here. Challenges in implementation. When you put these other points, just write few things. leakage and corruption. You can write leakage and corruption. Okay, due to misappropriation of funds, due to misappropriation of funds, that can be also be there, misappropriation funds. And अब यहां यहीं पे you can like lack of oversight mechanism, that can also be there na, lack of oversight mechanism. Next point you can write is bureaucratic red tape. Bureaucratic red tape. Up same, the same, this point, particular point got repeated, because just here only I made you write bureaucratic complex structures and all frameworks. So either you can use this particular keyword or you can use that particular keyword. Acha. Next is bureaucratic red tape. Then you can write is inadequate infrastructure. Inadequate infrastructure. Inadequate infrastructure. That is also okay. Inadequate infrastructure contributing to insufficient facilities. Contributing to insufficient facilities. तुम जाओ एसबीआई के बैंक में, आए दिन सर्वर गिरा हुआ होता है. यू गो टू द प्राइवेट बैंक, दैट इज नॉट देयर. एसबीआई में अभी लंच के बाद आना, अभी सर्वर सही नहीं चल रहा है, अभी मशीन इज नॉट वर्किंग. जबकि ऑलमोस्ट व्हेन आई से आउट ऑफ 140 करोड़ 50 करोड़ पीपल बैंक विथ एसबीआई, तब ये हाल है. Is it okay? Now I have SBI. I was using SBI only. But now in majority of the time, I took some service. Now I wanted to pay through my UPI. I'm not able to do it. It will get stuck. But it has never happened with any of the private banks so far. Okay. Third point you can write here is low capacity of low governance bodies. Low capacity of local governance bodies. Local governance bodies. Is it okay? Because now they may not know the work. Their capacity is very, very less. And because their capacity is less, they are not able to handle the authority and the responsibility. Next point you can write over here is poor data management. Poor data management. Poor data management. Because of inaccurate and outdated. Because of inaccurate and outdated beneficiary databases. Inaccurate and outdated beneficiary databases leading to errors in targeting. Leading to errors in targeting. And exclusion of eligible beneficiaries. And exclusion of eligible beneficiaries. Okay. Next to mechanism. Next you can write political influence and bias can also be there. Next you can write political influence and bias. Political influence and bias leading to favoritism and uneven distribution of benefits. And uneven distribution of benefits. Are these points more than enough for you? है ना? अच्छा. Now we are going to address what is the way forward. Though it is not there, we'll still write it. Because now it is a 15 marker thing. It is a 15 marker thing and they have made you write discuss. So still you need to create that once more subheading which will help you to increase your content base. तभी जो है the idea is very, very simple. अब देखो ये वाला question if it actually comes in the UPSC, or I mean it has come in the UPSC. अब for 150 words तुम्हारे 2 पेज भरे होने चाहिए. For 250 words तुम्हारे 3 पेज भरे होने चाहिए. ये calculations चलती हैं, ठीक है ना? Next यहाँ पे you can write over here is measures, or you can write is way forward. कि भाई way forward में हम क्या क्या कर सकते हैं. Okay, way forward में the first thing that you can do is outreach and communication. Under put the subheading as outreach and communication. Under this I can write targeted awareness. अब जो पॉइंट्स मेरे चैलेंजेस में थे आई विल पुट इन द फॉर्म ऑफ अ पॉजिटिव थिंग. तो मैंने बोला कि भाई कम्युनिकेशन वाज अ प्रॉब्लम, टारगेटेड अवेयरनेस वाज अ प्रॉब्लम, तो आई विल राइट टारगेटेड अवेयरनेस यूजिंग मल्टीपल चैनल, channels. Done. Second point you can write is clear and accessible language. Okay, clear and accessible language should be used for what? Information sharing. अगर मैं तुम्हें ऐसी कोई लैंग्वेज बोलूं which are not able to understand, no matter how good I teach, will you be able to understand? The answer is no, because now for me to teach you, the language has to be the common language. Next is availability of information in local languages and tailored to specific needs. ये चीजों के बारे में we can talk about. अच्छा, नेक्स्ट आ जाओ. नेक्स्ट में you can write stakeholder engagement. अब यहाँ पे if you try to understand, I made you write that people are not participating. So I have to make sure that now people also start to participate. So stakeholder, इसमें you can write inclusion of vulnerable sections in consultations and decision making process. Inclusion of vulnerable section in consultations and decision making processes. And this is how I told you reservation comes into picture, because now in that particular committee, in that particular position, I will put reservations, and by using reservations, what I will make sure that people are represented properly. Next point you can write is platforms for open dialogue. Next point you can write in this only collaboration with civil society. Organizations and community leaders. Is it okay? Now I as a government wanted to make sure that in this particular area of old Rajendra Nagar there should be a lot of safety. So I cannot do this on my own self unless and until I will have a local support. So first I have to see, do we have any local MLA over here? So using his support, because now since he is an MLA, it means what? He is a representative of the people. So if he is a representative of the people, if I engage him, so all the people will also engage. But if I don't engage him, now what is my expectation and what is the reality? There will be a gap. Okay. Next point you can write is, I think that is why community leaders will come into picture. Next you can write over here is capacity building, because I told you their capacity is very, very less. So we will talk about capacity building. Capacity building you can write is targeted training program. To enhance understanding of policy processes. To understand not to understand, to enhance understanding of, policy processes. Next important point you can write over here, Kill India initiative. Kill India initiatives. Next point you can write is leadership development. Leadership development among what? Among vulnerable section. Again, I'm telling you and repeating the same fact that while solving case studies, these points will come in handy to you. क्या क्या कर सकते हो? How can you make sure that the program and schemes get well implemented? You can talk these points. Next point, so that is done. Now we are going to talk about participatory monitoring and evaluation. Participatory monitoring and evaluation. Participatory monitoring and evaluation. In this you can write, we talked about there was no feedback mechanism. Here we will write feedback mechanisms. Here you can write feedback mechanisms to provide insights. Next you can write involvement of beneficiaries. Next point you can write involvement of beneficiaries in monitoring activities. Okay. Next, that's it. Next put the subheading as information accessibility. Information accessibility. Under this you write information accessibility. Isliye whenever you will see, and this is whenever you see that, for example, this rape thing and all thing will happen, government will automatically release a helpline number. Give them a number, and that number will be reflected by the media 24/7. Okay, so you can write establishing information centers. In this you can write establishing information centers, comma, helpline centers, and online platforms. Comma, online platforms. You remember we had talked about Madad platform when we were discussing the Gulf wala article. So that was what? That was only that if you have any complaints, you can put it online also. That's it. Next, you put the heading as, this is done now. Acha. There is one more point under this. You can write community mobilizers or facilitators. Community mobilizers or facilitators. Community mobilizers or facilitators for bridging the information gap. For bridging the information gap. Community mobilizers or facilitators for bridging the information gap. Matlab, though you are not a part of that WhatsApp group, but the admin, you know it. Is it okay? So you will approach the admin, and using admin, you will pass on the information. Ki bhai, this is the thing that should be taken care of. Is it okay? Acha. Next, put the subheading as collaborations and partnership. Next, you will see collaboration and partnership. Collaboration and partnership. Isme you write partnership between government, comma, civil society, partnership between government, comma, civil society, and community-based groups. Next important point you can write is resource pooling. जैसे तुमने कारपूल का कॉन्सेप्ट सुना होगा, कारपूल. Similarly, you will see resource pooling and expertise sharing. hearing. Next point you can write over here is implemented target interventions. That is very important. Implemented target interventions. Implemented target interventions and initiatives. Is it okay? Now you go to a private bank, you especially if I talk about HDFC, and you go to SBI. अब दोनों में you go for apply for a loan, the chances HDFC will approve it because HDFC is known for aggressive banking. Because now the people over there will have targets. SBI को कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता, target हो नहीं हो, at the end of the day they will get their salary. Is it okay? But यहाँ पे it will be on their job. If they are not meeting the targets on a regular basis, the chances they will be fired. Is this idea clear? इसीलिए अगर तुम्हारे इंटरनेट पे भी is there any problem, for example Jio में if there is any problem or if there is problem in Airtel, तुम एयरटेल की सर्विस देखना इंटरनेट की, within 24 hours their engineer will call and say ma'am what is the time that is available to you, I'll come and do that. You take any of the government, तो BSNL अभी है ही नहीं. So do you realize that now people are not, जबकि if you compare the tariff, BSNL will be on lower end, but still people are using the higher end services. Why? Because they know BSNL का ले तो लेंगे, if there is any problem 7 दिन 10 दिन के बाद वो आएगा. There is no target, and if there is no target, the idea here is they will not work also. They will be lazy, lethargic, and it is going to impact on the productivity, efficiency of the organization. Next point, the last में इसमें लिख लो, conclusion में लिख लो. By integrating the principles of transparency, accountability, by integrating the principles of transparency, accountability, accessibility, and participation for vulnerable sections into the design, implementation and evaluation, into the design, implementation and evaluation of welfare schemes, policy maker can enhance their performance and effectiveness, ensuring the holistic welfare and development can enhance their performance and effectiveness, ensuring the holistic welfare and development of the vulnerable sections of society. Is it clear? ठीक है, चलो, गुड. इसको लिख लेना.